Gaming Morning Show continues. Thanks for being along with us on this Friday, the last show of the week, and it's going to be a big weekend for our guest. Welcome in, HappyCapsters. Thank you for joining us today. You have a subathon coming up this weekend, huh?
I sure do.
The first ever, right?
Say what?
The first ever subathon for you?
Oh yeah, my first ever subathon, 100%. Like I've seen like a couple of my friends do it. Never done it before, so I'm very excited and very nervous.
Well, we think you'll do great, and we want to know a little bit about you for those who haven't had a chance to meet you. Give us an introduction to kind of what got you into streaming in the first place and what we can expect when we do check out your stream.
Sure. Well, I started streaming back in 2019, so almost three years ago now. Jeez. And started streaming a bit more like seriously within the last couple of years. I started streaming because I wanted an excuse to play video games, and I didn't have the dedicated time to do that, and I had a backlog from like years and forever. So I started that as like an excuse to actually play through the games, and then have friends watch me play, and then somehow that turned into people I didn't know watching me play games, and I'm like, all right, this is fun. I like entertaining people. Why not? You know? And it's just been a build up from there over the past couple of years, just trying to make it more entertaining. The biggest thing that we focus on, besides like mostly it's video games and chatting and having a good time over on MySpace. Sometimes I do art. I'm a freelance digital artist. So sometimes you do that on there, but most of the time, the biggest thing is we try to uplift and support each other loudly and proudly, because we're the Caffeine Nation. And to play on words on Caffeine Nation, because I'm addicted to coffee. But hey, yeah, let's go.
We love our coffee here. We would love, in fact, recommendations at some point. So if you have a coffee spot that we need to get on the show, we would absolutely love to have those.
Oh my goodness, I could hook you up.
Let's go. The subathon starts 7 a.m. Pacific time on Sunday, and you said that this thing could go up to, what, 80 some hours?
Yeah, I have it set at a cap to end on Wednesday evening because I have obligations on Thursday. Otherwise, it may have been longer than that, but it's definitely one of those ones. I have enough friends who have done it to be told like, hey, you gotta schedule breaks. You gotta make sure you sleep. So I'm not gonna like be one of those people who just streams for literally 85 hours straight, because I appreciate my sanity just a little bit.
It should be a lot of fun. We will definitely check it out, and you can as well. We'll include the link in the chat. HappyCapster is here, though, to play a game that we call 5 Questions GMS. Let's do it now on Gaming Morning Show 1.
So these are going to start off fairly easy, but get difficult as we continue.
So difficult.
So hard. It's the worst.
Terrible.
Just kidding. Number 1, though, as our friend Bob said. So we mentioned that we're just talking about you're doing your first ever subathon. And apparently for every 10 subs, you're offering the bacon pancake dance. Here on GMS, we adore pancakes. So can you tell us, what is the bacon pancake dance?
So it started as just a random sound alert that I added as like a channel point redemption on my stream. And if you're not familiar with it, it is a mashup of the Bacon Pancake song that Jake the dog sings on Adventure Time, which is a TV show, and the song New York, sung by, I don't remember what female singer it is. It sounds like Beyonce, but I'm pretty sure it's on Alicia Keys. Thank you very much. Yeah, exactly. It's a mashup of those two songs, and when it's played, in the past, I just kind of like jammed a little bit. And then I got my stream deck set up to where I could do just ridiculous like cut zooms on like my face and like different angles and stuff. So now we just like do a little jive in the chair with some ridiculous and silly like cut zooms. So it's a dance in quotation marks, but it's so funny. I make myself laugh every single time. So if no one else likes it, I'm do it for myself because it's just so funny to just like look at the camera and then look back, and I'm just like here, and then I'm like here, and it's the silliest thing, and I love it so much.
Ding ding ding!
Nice. I'm excited to see it.
Correct.
1 for 1. But yeah, there's a bonus attached to this one. So we just talked a little bit about bacon and pancakes, but we've heard that you're a TTRPG performer on Waffles Maple Syrup and only play wizards. Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Yeah, so Waffles Maple Syrup is a community that I joined late last year. And they have a few TCRPG shows that they run and produce on their channel. The one that I'm a part of is a bi-weekly Pathfinder 2e game, which is similar to Dungeons and Dragons if you're not familiar with that. And I play a catfolk witch who has a little tiny ferret familiar person that helps them with their magic and things of that nature. And we're playing through the Strength of Thousands module, which is like a pre-written thing, but we are so far off the rails that it's like its own thing now. But that's super, super fun. Everything there is like waffle themed, and it's really great. And they're just wonderful people. Excuse me. So that's every other Thursday. We also have it on Spotify, and it's like doing numbers overseas, which is very strange. In like Australia and France, it's like it's ridiculously popular over there. So I guess we're doing something right, apparently. And then I also on Wednesday evenings am over on Only Play Wizards playing The Expanse TTRPG. So I'm out in space, which The Expanse just finished. Like the TV show just wrapped up. The TTRPG is like in universe, but not like focused on like the TV show. Cool. So like if you want to see people in the Expanse universe, but like tangential to the storyline doing other things, I play an investigator named Zenny. So like it's really cool. It's really cool. We had a really good like character building session this last week. So you get to learn more about like who we are as people.
Let's go. That is super awesome.
In space. Space.
Bob's excited. I mean,
yes.
All for it. You are already 2 for 1. You're over 100%. We're 1 question in. So
hey, let's go.
Unmatched pace.
2.
Yeah, but buffer now. So
Dungeon Meowster KJ is big into TTRPG. Says TTRPG for the win. So you're also pleasing the audience. As we move to question number 2, we asked you your favorite material, possession, or brand, and you had mentioned the Steam Deck, which you just brought up a second ago. But I couldn't help but notice when I first watched your stream, the Hollow Knight behind you, and you said that is one of your favorite material possessions as well. So, what should we know about the giant stuffed Hollow Knight?
The giant stuffed Hollow Knight. Oh, I need to pull up who it is. So that giant stuffed Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is an indie game, an indie platformer game that is like Souls, like Dark Souls-esque difficulty, but it's like adorable. This is the main. You play as this little bug knight, and this it's like the size of my torso. It's huge. And I actually won this particular one in a Twitter giveaway.
Wow.
Or it wasn't a Twitter giveaway. No, that's my bad. It was during like a live stream event, I think. And I can't remember exactly which one which channel it was on. But one of them was a custom plushie that someone made. So this, I asked like, hey, can I have the Hollow Knight figure? And they're like, yeah, what size do you want it? Do you want it like pocket size or like huggable size or somewhere in between? And I was like, how big can you make him? and they said, bet, here you go, have this. And so it's huge. Like the head's the size of my head, and it's so soft. But it has a little crown on it because it needs one. It's a Hollow Knight.
Correct.
You are 3 for 2. Nice work.
Ding ding ding. 3.
That is incredible. Man, how big can you make? That's something I'd say. I appreciate that. Can you make it life size? Actually, you can't see it, but over in my corner, I have a life-size Bigfoot.
Oh, nice.
So, 'cause I kind of like.
It'd be hard to see anyway. It's just that you can't.
You're like, I
really
want a
see.
Hollow Knight of size, please. And they.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the problem. If it was a Hollow Knight of size, it would probably be about that.
Oh, that's true.
It's a
That's
bug.
true.
It's just a little tiny bug.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So recently you co-streamed and you played Don't Starve together. It's on. Speaking of backlogs, there you go. It's on there. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what food would you pick and why?
Oh, dang. See, you're asking someone who just loves food so much. If I had to pick a food to eat, oh, jeez. It would... Since coffee doesn't count as food according to some people, coffee's not a
are
meal,
wrong.
apparently. I would probably go. Honestly, it would be one of two things. Probably, maybe together if I could. Either just like a pan-fried or pan-seared like chicken with like roasted potatoes and green beans. Staple, delicious, simple, really good.
Yeah.
Or boxed mac and cheese. One of those two.
You are a
We could do
genius.
it together.
Cholesterol. What's that?
What is? Listen, if I had to eat, I have to eat something.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I'm like, you just slurp that mac and cheese. It's
You'd have to
really
cook
tasty.
it though, or is it? Do you just have like a giant like vault filled with boxes of mac and cheese, or
Oh
like?
yeah. Oh, I
Okay.
mean, you'd still have to put some effort into it. Like, you can still
Yeah,
put like
yeah.
seasonings on it if you want to.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But like, you know, get spicy, put some paprika on.
You're sitting there crunching on the noodles that haven't been boiled.
Uncooked noodles.
This is so great. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Imagine,
Yes.
could you imagine trying to take down the powder packet?
Oh,
Oh, it's like the cinnamon challenge, but oh god, so much worse.
But thank
it
you
just sounds terrible.
for saying that if you reach a certain milestone this weekend during your subathon, that's something you'll do is you'll eat the right. You just said
Hey.
that on our show.
yeah, hey, no worries. We'll make it happen.
According to Wikipedia, question number 4, there are notable goblinoids in Dungeons and Dragons. Many know the Green Goblin from Spider-Man, etc. But in 2020, you started the Goblin Society Games. Share more about Goblin Society Games, and do you have a favorite goblin or like goblin lore?
So, to start off with, Goblin Society Games is a TTRPG production company, I guess. We make TTRPG supplements, so things that you can use at your TTRPG tables. Right now, we have a couple of things that we've made for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, such as a bunch of magic items, like 300 magic items, each with like arts and stuff, and they're very, very cool. And then we also have a little book that gives you some more cantrips, which are very low-level spells, kind of balancing it out between the different classes that you can play to give you more variety. But we're also working on like 9 other projects right now, 2 of which are separate games, like board game type card game sort of things that are separate from TTRPGs, and other big projects and everything that we're really super excited to release. But as far as my favorite goblin is concerned, oh geez,
We're really making you pick today, aren't we?
You really, really are. I'm just trying to think of like different goblins that aren't like ones that are in like my own little universe.
But they
type
could be your
head
favorite goblin. They're
situation.
your goblins.
Okay, here is in fact my favorite goblin. Technically, they're a half goblin, so they are like half human, half goblin. And it was actually one of the characters that one of my players played as in one of my Dungeons and Dragons game. Their name was Dag the Brave, and they were, by the end of it, they were a barbarian rogue bard, which, if you know Dungeons and Dragons, is like a triple combo that doesn't quite work, but they were like a super sweet little like sunshiny, loved unicorns and rainbows, and then carried this mallet that was like 3 times their size.
I love it.
I love it.
And eventually became like the queen of the Goblin community by sheer force. And was like, we're gonna make, people see goblins as like really not terrible people, and then she did, because she could.
Ding, ding, ding.
So off the top of my head, that one's probably my favorite.
That's an official 5 out of 4, Mike. The pace right now is ridiculous.
I might need to get a bonus point for having a self-made there. That's great.
Ding.
6 out of 4. I love it.
Finally,
Why?
this is probably the hardest question.
Oh dang.
We asked for something that you seem to know a lot about that others seemingly do not. You said in video games, Undertale.
Yes.
So according to AminoApps.com, Megalovania, Hopes and Dreams, and Undertale are the best songs from the game. What should we know about the music for Undertale?
Jeez, most of one, it's amazing. One, it's incredible. But a tiny fact specifically about Megalovania. Those who are unfamiliar with Undertale, it's also another indie video game that has its own kind of like a bullet hell, so you're a little thing dodging around a bunch of bullets as far as like combat, but it's also exceptionally unique in its storytelling and its pacing, its characters and everything. But Megalovania is a song that plays during one of the different kinds of runs that you can do in the game. It's one of the final bosses that you can battle. That song was written by Toby Fox, the creator of the game, who wrote 99% of the music and did 99% of the music himself. It was originally written for a webcomic series called Homestuck, which was very popular way back in like early 2000s time. When Toby Fox worked on that, and it was the theme song for one of the big fight scenes for one of the characters. And because the people at Homestuck were super chill and cool, he got to keep all the rights to his music and everything. And so he just took that and was like, I'm gonna put this in my video game that I'm making. And it turns out it's like ridiculously good. So that's, I also am tangentially, I am like friends of a friend of one of the people who did the bass line for some of the music in there. So that's also, I know somebody who worked on that. So it's kind of cool.
Fantastic.
But the other thing about the music, last thing, I promise. Besides the fact that you should listen to it on literally everywhere because it's amazing. Toby does a really, really good job of light motifs, which in music, if you're not familiar with what that is a theme that is consistent throughout like a lot of the piece as a whole. So like for one character, their name is Toriel. They have a song at the very beginning. It's very simple but very sad. You can hear bits and pieces of that song in a different character's theme as well because they have a relationship. And little things like that where they take small bits from different songs and kind of weave them together so that, it's evoking a different kind of emotion or a character comes to mind without you even like thinking about it. Does a really good job of it, and it's just really good. It makes me cry all the time.
Yes. Ding.
Wow, Mike, final tally on this episode of 5 Questions GMS.
It's 7 out of 5, I think.
Carry
Oh
the
my
one.
God!
Very impressive.
I was never that good in school.
We'll send you a report card, and you can
A++.
take that back to whomever was giving you poor
Amazing.
marks.
I'll slap that on my website. Be like, look what I did. Here, Ma, look, I made it.
We have HappyCapster doing a subathon coming up 7 a.m. on Sunday Pacific time. Check it out. It's the first ever subathon that you are doing, and it could last up to 85 hours. One of my favorite things, Maria, is to have an opportunity to learn things. I don't know a lot about TTRPGs. I clearly don't know a lot about video game music. You enlightened me about a whole bunch of stuff today. And Chris and me even said Megalovania is such a banger. Dungeon Meowster KJ said, my PC's BFF in our game is a goblin. Goblins are underrated. Look at this. So you're making connections with our audience, and we appreciate it very much. Good luck with the subathon, and thank you for joining us today on Gaming Morning Show.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
me. This was so wonderful. Y'all are great.
That was absolutely fun. HappyCapster joining us on Gaming Morning Show. All right.